So now that you're looking at this video, this means you're ready to move on to a more intellectual and more challenging aspect of life. And as your English teacher, it is our job to guide you towards that perspective. So far in most of your classes, probably through elementary and middle school, you've been given a short story, maybe even a play or a poem, and you've been asked to stretch your mind to different directions. You've realized the value of figurative language and how sometimes when the regular words don't cut it, a metaphor or simile might make it a little bit more elaborate and say what you actually mean. So while you have to figure out figurative language, you also have literal language, which is being very stark and very blatant and very clear with your words to make sure your thoughts are getting across to others. So we're transitioning into a unit that is going to ask you to not only understand, comprehend, and also prove your opinion and your point and back it up with evidence, but it's going to prove you to go further. So you have been in fictional pieces of literature. And in the fictional pieces of literature we read, you had to take a fictional character, make a claim about him or her, and then you had to support it with evidence from the text. And typically you found foreshadows and similes and characterization, conflict, and so like that. Now that we move into a new unit, I'm going to warn you that you're going into a unit that is going to pressure you to be more prepared for the real world. Think about it this way. Think about a conversation you might have recently had with someone, and the topic was very accurate according to contemporary times. You may have been discussing politics or the virus, or you might have been discussing sports and involvement in schools, or maybe the concussions or what's going on in India and so on. You've been learning these topics from somewhere, but are your sources legitimate? Are they some kind of source that your friend just posted, an opinion? Are they legitimate, credible sources from across the world? Is this something your teacher told you and you are trusting to be legitimate? Today, everyone is a reporter. You can go out with your phone and take a video of something and post what you think had happened, and people believe you. So, number one, you want to make sure your sources are credible. And in this conversation you had, did you know what you were talking about? Or was it something you just heard from someone else? Only you know that answer. So in life, if you don't want to be put down or embarrassed because you don't know the facts, or you don't want to have to back out of a conversation because you don't know the facts, you need to learn how to research properly. And research for you does mean going on a website. It does mean going on Twitter and checking out a legitimate article from a legitimate and credible source. It does mean maybe you did experience it firsthand and you know the best part of the facts. But you need to first make sure that your sources are legitimate. You also need to make sure that you have corroborated your sources so that it's not just one article you're getting your opinion off of. And you also need to make sure that you have a range of resources. So in order to have any kind of stance in an argument, whether in an essay, on a blog, or in a conversation, you need to do your research. Think about it. Will you back out of that conversation, or will you actually contribute and know what you're talking about? So this unit is going to begin the process and the understanding and the skill of researching. You are first going to have a topic. I'll let you pick from 2 or 3 of them. And in these topics, they will be contemporary topics, something you're hopefully intrigued. And I want you to understand the skill of finding legitimate resources and where to go. Google is your generic search engine. Yes, you can Google anything. But there are parts of Google and other resources our library have that will promise you and give you and guarantee legitimate sources at a much better intellectual level. This is where you need to learn to research. So are you ready? Let's find out if you're going to go and join that conversation or if you're going to back out because you're too scared.